Welcome back. This is AG3 Chapter 3, video number 7, where we'll be talking about graphing f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. Our essential question is, how can you find the vertex of the graph f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c? Notice our function looks a little different. So we're going to be starting off with a diagram. Remember, this is called a parabola, where our lowest point is the vertex, where our parabola crosses the y-axis. It's called our y-intercept. And this will be given from our letter c, or the value for c. It'll be a number. The way that we find x is negative b over 2a. And then we can, this is our equation, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a is bigger than 0, so it's a positive number. So let's look at what information we can get from the equation. I want you to sketch that. So from our function, if a is positive, it's always going to open up. If a is negative or less than 0, it's going to open down. The y-intercept is always going to be given to us from c, and it's always going to be 0 and whatever value we have for c. So we have to identify what value we have from our function, what number is here at c, and it'll be 0, c. The x-coordinate of the vertex can be found by substituting in values b and a, and it'll be negative b over 2a. And from there, we're going to get a value for x, in which we're going to plug back into the function to find the vertex. And the axis of symmetry is always going to be at x equals negative b over 2a. All right, so let's do an example. Find the axis of symmetry and the vertex of the function f of x equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 1. The first thing I want you to notice is that a equals 2, b equals 8, and c equals negative 1. And from this, we can start plugging this back into our formulas to get out values. So we know that the axis of symmetry is negative b over 2a. So now we plug in 8 for b and 2 for a, and we get negative 8 over 2 times 2, which equals negative 8 over 4, which equals negative 2. So our axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. Once again, we have to find our values a, b, and c, and then we just plug them in or substitute them back in to our equations to get out a numerical value. So now we have the axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. With this negative 2, we are now going to plug it back into all of this part right here to our function to find out the y value of our vertex. So to now find the vertex, we plug in x equals negative 2 back into the original function. So our function is f of x equals 2x squared plus 8x minus 1. Everywhere there's an x, we're going to plug in the negative 2 we got out. So the way we write that is f evaluated at negative 2. This is saying what number we're plugging in for x now. Everywhere there was an x, we're going to plug in our negative 2. 2 times negative 2 squared plus 8 times negative 2 minus 1. Use your calculator for this. It'll make it a lot easier. If you need help, come see me. And we get out the value of negative 9. So our vertex is the negative 2 that we plugged in, and our output, which is negative 9. So we can still find our vertex and our axis of symmetry using the new function, even though it's not exactly the same as we've been using before. Please write a summary, and then find today's work. We want to find the axis of symmetry and the vertex of the graph of the function. Please do so on a separate sheet of paper. So we'll be doing both steps, finding the axis of symmetry and the vertex for all 4 of these problems.